You talk too much. You explain your dreams to people who will never understand them. You share your vision with people who aren't even building their own. You look for encouragement in conversations that drain your fire. Why? Because you want to be seen. You want to be understood. You want to feel like you're already becoming something. But you're not. Not yet. And that's the problem. You've confused talking for transformation. Words are not change. They're cheap. They're everywhere. They're empty unless built on the back of action. Power doesn't need to be spoken. It doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't warn you before it strikes. Power is quiet, deadly, unshaken. The ones who really win. They say less. They do more. And when they speak, the room listens. Because silence is not absence. It's presence. It's restraint. It's composure. It's the ultimate control over your emotional energy. Stillness is not weakness. Stillness is calculated force, held back by discipline. In a world addicted to noise, stillness is a weapon. Silence is leverage. You don't need to explain your plan. You need to execute it. Every word you speak is a withdrawal from your mental bank. Save it, conserve it, invest it into your habits, your process, your rituals. You want clarity? Stop talking. You want focus? Stop explaining. You want freedom? Learn to keep your mouth shut and your mission sacred. Your words are revealing too much. Your doubts, your fears, your uncertainty. But when you operate in silence, you let your results reveal who you are. You don't just become known. You become respected. You become feared because no one sees you coming. And that's exactly how it should be. You talk because you're afraid of being overlooked, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of moving quietly without applause. But here's the truth. No one's coming to clap for your potential. No one's waking up thinking about your dream. No one's impressed by your plan until it's real. Talking feels good because it mimics progress. It gives you the emotional high without the pain of process. It scratches the itch without producing results. But the moment you fall in love with silence, you stop needing credit. You stop needing validation. You stop leaking power. And then, finally, you become dangerous. Because now, your energy isn't going out into the world. It's going inward, into the work, into the discipline, into the becoming. Hunger moves in silence. The hungriest people, you won't hear them coming. They're not loud. They're not boastful. They're too focused to be vocal. They don't have time to talk about the grind because they're in it. They're living in the trench. They're refining the edge. That's real hunger. It's not public. It's private. It's personal. You don't need to post it. You don't need to preach it. You need to live it. Because in the end, the scoreboard doesn't care how much noise you made. It only records results. The real killers in this life, they're silent. They train while you tweet. They prepare while you pontificate. They win while you waste time explaining why you're going to. Power is not found in constant expression. It's found in restraint. Every time you resist the urge to speak, to defend, to justify, to react, you gain strength. Not because you're scared, but because you're disciplined, you're patient, you're dangerous. You don't get triggered by opinions. You don't flinch at criticism. You don't move off purpose just because someone doubts you. That's a different level of control, a different level of ownership. You move when you decide, not when the world provokes you. You are no longer a slave to emotion. You are no longer a slave to attention. You are no longer a slave to the need to be seen. Because when you truly lock in, when you truly accept that only the result matters, you don't speak to prove, you build to conquer. You're not here to perform. You're here to evolve. And that evolution happens in silence. You don't need applause. You don't need confirmation. You need discipline. You need time. You need total focus. The world celebrates the loud, but history remembers the relentless. You don't announce greatness. You build it, not through chatter, but through blood, repetition, and an unbreakable inner code. You become the quiet wolf, Not because you can't speak, but because you choose not to. The quiet wolf watches, studies, calculates, while the others bark for attention. He sharpens his claws in silence, and when he moves, the world feels it. You are no longer here to be seen. You're here to become. Detach from the crowd. Silence forces detachment, and detachment creates dominance. You step back. You unplug from the noise. You walk away from mediocrity. Because the crowd lives for attention. They live in performance mode. They speak before thinking, react before reflecting. You're not like them anymore. They want dopamine. You want results. They want to be seen. You want to build something no one can ignore. That requires isolation. That requires discipline. That requires going where most people won't. Inside. Inside yourself. Into the tension. Into the silence where all your excuses die. Where all your weakness is exposed. And where all your power is born. You do this not to feel good, but to get free. Silence is not just the absence of words. It's the presence of clarity. You're not here for average. You're not here for cute goals and minor progress. You're here to build a legacy. And legacies are not built in public. They are forged in silence, in the dark hours, in the lonely reps, in the moments no one sees and no one understands. That's where your real identity is constructed. And in those moments, noise is lethal. Noise dilutes you. Noise distracts you. Noise destroys the focus required for greatness. So you go dark, you go deep, you go silent. Not because you're hiding, but because you're becoming too strong to be interrupted. Let the others play online. Let the others talk about their grind. You're too immersed in yours to stop and talk about it. Silence is emotional discipline. It's what separates the mature from the impulsive. Because your mouth is a trigger, and most people shoot their power with every sentence. They speak too soon. They react too fast. They bleed energy with every complaint, every opinion, every argument. But you've gone inward. You've mastered the art of internal processing. You sit with the pressure. You absorb the chaos. And you do what the weak never do. You hold the line. Because silence isn't suppression. It's refinement. It's channeling. It's weaponizing your mind for control over your life. The one who controls his mouth controls his mind. And the one who controls his mind controls his future. No emotion leaks. No energy wasted. No need for validation. This is power. Real power. And it cannot be taken, only given away. So stop giving it away with careless words. Protect it, defend it, fortify your silence like a fortress. When the world stops hearing you, it starts fearing you. Disappear, rebuild, transformation, and let the world wonder what happened to you. Let them guess, let them whisper, let them spin their theories. While they're talking, you're training. While they're watching, you're working. While they're laughing, you're locking in. At first, they'll think you quit, but soon, they'll realize you ascended. Because when you step out of the noise and into mastery, you return with a presence they can't comprehend. Your silence becomes louder than their noise. And when they finally hear from you again, it's not a status update. It's not a motivational post. It's not small talk. It's a statement of dominance. A result so undeniable, it shuts everything else down. You're not just staying quiet. You're preparing for war. This is deeper than behavior. It's spiritual warfare. Because every second you withhold your reaction, you kill weakness. Every moment you resist the urge to vent, you build mental armor. Every hour you endure without applause, you reinforce your identity as a producer, not a performer. You are no longer ruled by comfort. You are no longer swayed by criticism. You are no longer a slave to external energy. You've become a fortress. Calm, still, relentless. The world doesn't even realize what's coming, but you do, because it's already happening. Inside you, in the silence, in the discipline, in the void where noise once lived. This is the threshold. This is where everything changes. This is the line most people will never cross, because it demands the death of your old self, the self that needed to be heard, the self that needed to be seen, the self that wanted to feel important through words instead of work. But you're done with that life. You've burned that identity. You're no longer just learning silence. You are silence. You embody restraint. You command presence. This isn't a tactic anymore. It's your nature. You've been forged in discipline, molded in discomfort, trained in the shadows. You know now, silence is not a weakness. It's not emptiness. It's not absence. Silence is concentration. Silence is preparation. Silence is pressure building behind closed doors. You have become a weapon, not because you shout, but because you don't need to. You are no longer available to the world. You don't answer every message. You don't reply to nonsense. You don't engage with distraction. Why? Because you are not available to the average anymore. You are too focused, too locked in, too deep in the process. Your silence is not ignorance. It's protection. You protect your time. You protect your energy. You protect your becoming. Let them wonder what happened to you. Let them create stories in their head. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them explanations. You owe yourself one thing: execution. Every time you speak, it's calculated. Every time you move, it's deliberate. Every interaction is either building the mission or getting eliminated. You're no longer distracted by proving. You're possessed by becoming. The shift is internal. You don't feel the need to share every thought. You don't post the plan. You live the plan. You don't predict the future. You create it. Because now, your energy has turned inward. You've pulled all the chaos back into control. And that stillness, that focus, that locked-in composure, it radiates power. You walk into a room and you don't have to say a word. People feel you. Because your silence isn't passive. It's charged. They don't know what you're building. They don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what's coming. But they know something is. Because you no longer show up to talk. You show up to dominate. You no longer need recognition. You don't need them to clap for you. You don't need their congratulations. You don't need to be understood. Why? Because your self-respect is internal now. It's not based on feedback. It's not dependent on praise. It's earned quietly through repetition, commitment, and pain. You know what you're doing. You know what you're chasing. And you know that when it's done, it will speak for itself. That's all that matters. That's all that ever mattered. Everything else is noise, white noise, empty distraction. You are no longer a performer. You are a producer. You are a creator of undeniable results. And you don't need a crowd for that. You need focus, time, and unshakable silence. No one sees your effort. No one sees the late nights. No one sees the discipline, the structure, the isolation. And they don't need to. Because this isn't for show. This isn't for social proof. This is war. You don't move for applause. You move for impact. You train quietly. You learn quietly. You suffer quietly. And when the time comes, you deliver, loudly, decisively, completely. You strike like lightning, fast, precise, lethal, and you disappear again into the process. Because you're not here to entertain. You're here to win. Now you speak only to finish. Every word you say now has weight. You've earned that weight through restraint. When you speak, you finish things. You don't negotiate. You don't guess. You declare. And the people who used to ignore you, now they listen. Not because you're loud, but because your silence made them pay attention. You've taught the world how to treat you. Through your discipline. Through your focus. Through your quiet execution. Let them run their mouths. Let them gossip. Let them underestimate. You say nothing. You work. You ascend. And when you speak again, it's to close the chapter. This is the point of no return. You've crossed over. You don't go back now. You don't go back to noise. You don't go back to explaining. You don't go back to caring what they think. You've been through the fire. You've sat in the silence. You've trained your mind to move with no permission. And now, you're free, unchained, unstoppable, unapologetically silent. You don't talk the walk. You walk it until the pavement breaks. You don't announce your comeback. You return like a force of nature. The silence built you. Now it unleashes you. Now walk, and let them feel it. Walk with your head up, eyes forward, mouth closed. You don't need to convince anyone anymore. You are the evidence. No more talking, no more warning, no more forecasting the storm. You are the storm. And your silence is the sound of destiny being fulfilled. Let them feel it. Let them wonder. Let them get uncomfortable. Because you're not trying to be powerful. You've become power, all built in silence, all earned in solitude, all tested in fire, and all delivered without a single wasted word. Now go, say less, do more, win big,